like the little app sounds or say like a sonic logo, etc., for brands, and how you can translate emotion into such what can be quite often short pieces, short bursts, I guess. Yeah. We obviously do longer form pieces for brands as well, but I think that's one of the things that really excited me to move into the space after writing, what we've probably written 2,000-3,000 songs, I would say, between us for other people and for ourselves as artists.
Absolutely. So, and it's like, we both fell in love with sort of doing sound to picture, TV adverts, etc. There's a whole new nuance to that, and making those two, visual and audio work sort of together. But actually, then it's a whole nother challenge to have those sounds stand alone. And I think that's the challenge we really enjoy. Reference the Netflix sound. You see it on TV and you can hear the sound, but you can remove the visual and it still makes sense, and it's still doing a very good job. So, and last week we talked about sonic branding is sonic branding just a jingle? We would not call it a jingle ourselves. We would call it like a sonic logo or a piece of recognizable music. So
well, we actually fell onto a sonic ecosystem for your brand. And ecosystem, I guess, is a great word, because your ecosystem is all around us. You don't get to choose it necessarily, but it still has an impact on you, and it is everywhere. And unless you exist in a vacuum as a brand with no sound,
which you'd be lying.
Sonic branding.
You'd be lying.
Exactly.
And if you think about, all these great, coffee shops, quite a good one, Cafe Nero or, Starbucks, I have never looked, but I don't, know the sound of Starbucks, but they also have music playing in store in their restaurants. What is that journey? What is that brand experience that's happening? And that is the ecosystem you refer to.
Yeah. And it is interesting because they do think about it quite a lot. And there are, there are companies that just supply music to those places. Now, the amount of strategy that's involved in deciding will vastly differ, I would say. But, harking back to us producing music for artists, I remember like 2 years ago when a song I did for an artist like 2 years before, when I text you saying, oh, my PRS is royalties for music, came in, and I made like thousands of pounds from this song from like 2-3 years ago. So what's going on? And then when I looked, it was placed on a Tesco's playlist. In all the Tesco stores. Yeah.
And those things are happening, and we will get to the second misconception very soon, but I'm enjoying this chat. But also I love thinking about your ecosystem, term, which I really love. If we're thinking about Starbucks, there is so many touch points, and this is where we kind of concluded last week on, it's not just a jingle, it is an ecosystem of different touch points where your clients and your customers and your audience are engaging with the brands.